And it is a good morning. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning, where talk is real, truth is in the talk, and there is power in the truth right after we tap dance. Good morning, Melody.
I'm tapping my way through life. How about that?
That's okay. That is okay. I think that's where I'm going to start. Since you said that, I got to find my article now. But it's a crazy article. But I thought it was interesting about changing your personality, that you can do that in 30 days. You can change your personality. I thought your personality kind of changes and molds through life as you go through different experiences, the ups and downs and all that with life. But anyway, it's called SNAP, Change Your Personality in 30 Days. And anybody who says, they claim that anybody says you can't change your personality is wrong, that it's in your DNA, it's there when you were born. They say that's wrong. I think it is. Just having raised 5 sons, I think there is a certain amount, you can tell a difference in a baby when they're born as far as a personality. And even with my grandchildren, I've got one that was born in December, and she's very docile, only cries when she needs something. And then I have a little grandson that was born in December who has no build up to his crying. When he's hungry, he's screaming right then. He doesn't build up to it. I mean, it's a different personality. And of course, the boys want to eat a little bit more than the girls. But anyway, he says here that it's never too late to make meaningful changes in your personality. Small personality tweaks can help you live longer and avoid disease, including Alzheimer's. Now, he's selling a book, and we're not selling a book. I just thought this was kind of interesting. How to protect yourself against your own personality flaws. And I thought that was interesting because I don't accept when people say, well, that's just the way I am and you have to accept me.
Like
if they're quick-tempered or something, that's just my personality and you have to accept that. And I don't I don't believe that. I think you can make some of those changes. I've seen people do that. Says how to protect yourself against the personality flaws. Birth order. I loved this one. Birth order has no influence on personality traits. So there goes that middle child syndrome out the window. I'm always kidding my third boy. He claims the middle child, and my brother Tommy, he claims the middle child syndrome. I said, if there's 5 kids, there's 3 of you in the middle. Yeah, well, I'm in the middle of the middle. So this kind of throws their little tantrum out. And it says, Melody, that the pet of your choice is an indicator of whether you are introverted or extroverted. Oh, I thought that was interesting. I know a lot of times they say that pet owners kind of take on the personality or the looks of their pet or vice versa. And anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. It's not really news, but I thought it was interesting that says you can change your personality. And I think when someone is spiritually lost and becomes saved, their personality does change.
Yes, it
does. And so, when you come to know things that and realize, a Savior and love, if you let love rule you instead of letting hate rule you, you have a much better personality. And they always say circumstances I don't know how the saying goes. I'm going to say it wrong, I'm sure. Circumstances don't make you. It's how you react to them. So you can't blame everything on just circumstances, but how you react to things that happen to you or take place. And I think there's some truth in that for sure.
Well, I think there's some, truth in that 30-day syndrome type thing. Yesterday we had Wendy Wilson on the 4 o'clock program, and she made a comment that I thought was interesting. She says that if you change your eating habits and you begin to eat healthy and the proper things, she says you can change your DNA in 30 days. And I remember growing up that if you wanted to eliminate a bad habit or cultivate a new habit, you'd have to do it for 28, 30 days, and voila.
Yeah, but it doesn't take but one day to fall off to go back into. That's always amazing to me. I was on this trip and I gained X amount of pounds, but it's going to take me weeks to get that X amount of pounds off instead of, I said, why do you gain it in 2 days and you can't lose it in 2 days? It never, it's just, anyway.
But
I believe
so there's something to that.
Yeah.
To that theory for the 30 days. So yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know what your puppy dog. I don't know what what that says. What she says about your personality, whether you're introverted or extroverted.
Oh, definitely, she'd be extroverted.
Well, then you would.
She's
be
a terrier. She's a hunter. She's a hunter. She's feisty. She's ornery. She
digs in the dirt. Well, then we know what you do. You dig in the dirt, Melody. My dog of choice, if I had one, would be a Scotty dog. I like the Scott Terriers, and I just like the black, the shiny black eyes. And I had one time. I used to be a Pepsi holic. I had one time. I could just pour a little of my Pepsi out on the sidewalk, and that little puppy, she would just lap it up like she was crazy, like me with her Pepsi. That's probably not the best way to feed your dog. She wanted my Pepsi, and I didn't want her to cut her tongue on my Pepsi can. So, But yeah, I like that. I like the Scott Terrier. So I don't know what that says about me. I like other dogs too. I like the I lost the. What are they called? The Golden Retrievers. I think those are beautiful dogs.
Beautiful
and
dogs.
I love collies. I love collies. Yeah, you wish they didn't shed. Well, they all shed, don't they? Well, your doggy doesn't shed.
My doggy doesn't shed. I made sure I don't get a dog that sheds. But I think one of the neatest dogs is that the combo of the poodle and the lab.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They're awesome dogs. They're adorable. They're beautiful. They don't shed. The poodle is classified as one of the smartest dogs. And, of course, the lab's personality, you can't beat it. And they have such life, and they're so obedient and so easy to train. The only reason I always had large dogs. But, getting up in age of my last dogs, she weighed so much when I had to take her to the vet. I had to pick her up. I couldn't get her into the truck and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go smaller now.
Well, I always heard that's new to me to know that about the poodles. And, but I always heard the shepherds and the collies were extremely smart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of those, and the I'm trying to think what the name of the dog is that they use, that they train for sniffing out cadavers and other things. That they're beautiful dogs, though, and I love dogs. I just don't want to take care of one, so I don't have one.
Well, moving right along here, the White House doctor Ronnie Jackson has withdrawn from Trump's nominee.
Did he withdraw finally?
Finally.
Well, I didn't think it was necessary, but yesterday it said he wasn't going to. So, but today he has, huh?
Well, there is something goofy about that guy. I don't know what it is, but there is something goofy about him, and he's been there for almost 3 administrations. He was there at the end of the Bush administration, through the Obama administration, of course. This one, he is the president's. He has been the president's physician for, for all those years. So, and it's true, you'd think that they would have had him vetted through all these administrations and if they found any problems, but then again, they might have looked the other way, particularly, and I don't want people to get upset with me, but particularly through the Obama administration, as we hear so many rumors about Michelle Michael. So maybe you had to have a particular type of position.
I can't believe you said that out loud.
To keep all of that under wraps. You don't know. So maybe
she's taller than us. That's all.
There's some compelling arguments, but
there is. But
so this is, and he did act strange. When he examined President Trump earlier this year, and he had the press conference. Yeah, he stood up to the press, but he kind of reminded me of the libertarian Gary Johnson in some of the interviews that he had. It was almost like they had that same type of personality. You could be smart, but a little goofy.
I didn't catch that. I was listening to the crazy questions they were throwing at him, and to me, that was like, what on earth are you asking that question for.
Well, I agree with that. Maybe, and that's why I thought, well, perhaps his behavior was because of the crazy questions that they asked. He was just in kind.
They said the complaint came from some disgruntled colleague that didn't like him, and I don't know if that's true or not. But then they also said that, or I thought I read anyway, that President Barack Obama gave him a letter of recommendation, praising him and stuff. But that didn't stop Congress from shooting it down, I guess. And anyway, he has withdrawn. I did not know that. I saw where another talk show host predicted that, but I did not see that it had happened. So.
Yeah, it was. I think John Tester, he's a Democratic senator. He raised the concerns about Jackson, and he's from Montana. So I don't know if he's the one that initiated and stuff. But, if there are questions and so forth, and I'm sure a lot of them are, and that's what doctors do. They write prescriptions. If people can't sleep, you hand them out, and particularly in that type of that environment with you have this, it's,
Well, is that what they said he'd done? Because what I had read was that he had an alcohol problem and a temper problem.
Yeah, well, that was also included and so forth, but it's a combination of everything, and but what I don't understand is, here we're talking about the VA.
Mm-hmm.
They provide services for 9 million vets. Mm-hmm. It has over 1,200 health care facilities, and how hard is it to find somebody that is capable of managing the Veterans Health Administration? That's a big job, and it's I don't know. How hard is it to find someone like that? I thought Ben Carson would be great.
That's what I was thinking.
But he's a doctor, though, and I don't know how well he's handling the
Well, he handled well. I think he's doing very well, and I think that he was administrator in hospitals, so I think he's capable. He's very smart. I think he's very capable of handling it, but I don't know. Which I was kind of surprised.
Me makes a better fit. Yeah. Pardon?
I was surprised when President Trump nominated this guy because I thought, well, wouldn't you want to keep him as your physician, or does he want a different physician? So he was trying to get rid of him.
It's true. Or was it a payback? Hey, you gave me a good bill of health, and you stretched the truth a little bit. So here's your payback.
Because he watched too much TV. What do you sit? Does the doctor sit and hold his hand and see how much TV he watches? Oh, well, okay.
But anyway, so that's kind of interesting. I don't know if no one else has been picked and so forth, but that's a big deal. This is a big position, and to think that they couldn't, find somebody that could get past. It's.
Well, they've obstructed every nominee so far. So, and it doesn't matter if they're good or bad; they're going to obstruct them. They're just going to keep dragging their feet, and it's like whether you like him or not, it's like President Donald Trump is dragging this heavy weight behind him, trying to get jobs done, trying to get things done, and he can't get anything accomplished because of Congress. And anyway. I'm going to move on just a little bit. We're going to go into a break here real quick. When you and I talked last, a long time ago, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the polls, and we don't like the polls. And you mentioned it's the poll that nobody could pronounce is the one that was the most accurate. Not accurate necessarily, but that's the Quinnipiac.
Consistent.
Okay. And then when you were gone on that one Wednesday, they had a Quinnipiac. Well, another one came out today, so I wanted to just kind of throw that out there. But we're headed into a break. Your calls are welcome at 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually, there is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188. I
know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
Have you seen the Left Behind movies? Have you read the Left Behind fictional book series? Not everyone believes Left Behind is true prophecy. Some may even regard as conspiratorial the mainstream re-release of the Left Behind movie with actor Nicolas Cage portraying the main character as an attempt to further reinforce in the minds of all this perception of false prophecy in order to condition the masses for the play about to begin. Because they see the world stage shaping to fulfill what they have been led to believe is sound biblical interpretation, a left behind rapture scenario, this false view of prophecy is reinforced in the mind, not only of its adherents, but also includes those who have been merely exposed to the specific media. Is it possible that false prophecy can be fulfilled? The rapture theories have always been in dispute. Pre-trib, mid-trib, and post-trib disputes have risen up in exclusively evangelical circles of recent history, so that when true believers don't suddenly disappear, this element will easily go by the wayside when all see a new Jewish temple begin to be built. Will this be part of the great delusion that will come upon the whole earth? It seems that this great prophetic delusion has already overcome practically the entire American evangelical and Christian world. Get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. To learn more, visit crosstheborder.org. That's CROSS, crosstheborder.org.
Years ahead of the dominant media, FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. And as we were going into the break, we were talking about, I was going to bring this up. The Quinnipiac poll is out again this morning. Now, Melody had seen even a different one. So this one is talking about President Donald Trump's handling of the nation's policies toward North Korea. And it's an 8-point spike from a year ago, according to the Quinnipiac University poll. 52% approve of President Trump's handling in North Korea. This kind of surprised me. It really did. 52% approve of Donald Trump's handling in North Korea, which is up 8 points, they said, from May of 2017. Oh, I guess that's what he was calling him, Rocket Man. 42% disapprove of his handling of North Korea, which is down 6 points. And 66% approve of President Trump's planned summit with Kim Jong-un. 45% have confidence in President Trump that he will handle the situation versus 51% who are not so confident. 73% say North Korea will not give up its nuclear weapons. They will not comply. We'll see what happens. It says, just to take this a little further, 61% approval of the president's ordered airstrikes on Syria in the aftermath of the chemical attack traced to the government there. That one is the one that surprised me, that 61% approved of that. However, that confidence does not translate, he says, to overall approval of the job Trump is doing. Just 39% approve of Trump's performance, and it's a 2-point drop since last month, versus 54% who disapprove of his performance, according to Quinnipiac. Says President Donald Trump remains as unpopular as ever when voters rate his job performance overall. This is coming from Peter Brown, and he's the assistant director of the Quinnipiac University poll. But in two key policy areas, he says, North Korea and Syria, that have dominated the news flow over the last few weeks, he is getting better grades. So even as voters give him higher grades on North Korea and Syria, they do not think he's making the world a safer place. Now, they only survey 1,193 people, and that doesn't seem like that's really I would think you'd have to survey more than that. But maybe the smaller amount of people you survey, the better the survey. I don't know. I don't know anything about surveys, but.
Well, that's the problem with so many of these surveys. I mean, they do the small numbers, and and Rasmussen. I mean, they are a conservative. So I always.
Do they call conservatives? Do they not go to where they can?
Yeah, but the majority, and just like a lot of these polls that you find online and so forth, you have people going through, clicking on, and so forth, and depending on which website and so forth, and that's why I only ever stuck to the Quinnipiac or whatever you want to say it, is because all through the campaign, and they used that one a lot. And so I figured, well, you stick with one, you stick through it all, the whole way, and there's various versions of different polls, and and over the long haul, they're all going to be pretty much, I think, the same. You're not. It
says the margin of error on this is a minus 3.4%.
Yeah, well, that's typical, but
anyway, I thought it was
interesting,
and it was kind of. I was really shocked that many approved of his airstrikes. That one kind of shocked me, but anyway.
Well, I think Americans. I mean, it's just like Ronald Reagan. I mean, he was strong. They like that toughness. They like that showing force. They like that we're not going to back down. And I don't know if that was part of it, and so forth. But and when those who watch mainstream media and so forth, and they see the little children being bathed in showers to get the chemicals on. I mean, it moves people. And so to see them strike back and so forth, and they react to that way, to the pictures, without really understanding and knowing the true conflict that is behind everything, and so forth. They just see visual is an important influence on people's views, and that's but. The same poll, the same company that did that poll polled about Nikki Haley and her job performance at the as the UN ambassador, and she was like 63% approval. And I mean, she does. You think she's tough.
She comes on strong. She doesn't.
Comes on strong. She doesn't mince words, and that's she's in control, regardless of what Larry Kudlow said the other week, saying that she was confused, and she came right back and said, "I am not confused." And she stood her ground, and people like that. She's got control, so good for her. And I told you during the break, if she ran for president, she might just have a very good chance, or even being vice president. I'm not sure I approve of all her views, and and so forth. But she seems to. But
well, I know that I don't, but I would approve of her more than that other woman that ran for president.
Yes, you think?
But, I'm kind of, you and I mentioned, I don't know if we were on the air, off the air, and we might make all our females upset. I'm not sure I'm ready for a female president. Now, somebody like Nikki Haley, she really shows, well, for one thing, it's not accepted in other countries. So where are you going to get your respect, and how are you going to,
I don't know. Merkel's doing fine.
Merkel's. Ugh.
Merkel's doing fine, and
I mean, Merkel.
Well,
okay.
I wasn't.
All right,
didn't say I was a fan of her.
Yeah, even my sons shot me down on that. I said, well, I just don't know that I'm ready for it.
I don't think there should be a woman president. I still
you
think.
Just got through defending Merkel.
Well, no, I mean, no, I mean, because I don't.
We're old school, aren't we?
We are. I
guess. Well, I'm going to move on here. I want to talk about what's going on in the state of California. They've got a bill that will ban the sale of Bibles. Now, when did we ever think we would go this far down the gutter in the United States of America? This is religious persecution, nothing less and nothing more. That's exactly what it is. It says the political left in much of America is certainly no fan of religious expression, particularly where religions like Christianity collide with one of their pet constituencies, the LGBTQ plus lobby. However, few states are willing to take that disdain for religious freedom as far as the state of California, which seems to be willing to go as far as they can possibly go. It says the Democrat Party in California and its various members are pushing to rush through a bill that will allow them to target religious therapies undertaken entirely voluntarily, saying that the state government, has a compelling interest in doing so. In fact, the law is being fast-tracked, and the wording destroys the fabric of American society and the Constitution. It would make it illegal to sell Bibles in the state of California. It's Assembly Bill 2943, and it's designed to stop the sale of certain educational materials, and the legislation is just vague enough to be open for easy abuse of leftists across the state who are more than happy to censor the religious and their rights. However, it seems like a simple measure at the first glance. It says it was introduced in February, and with the title Unlawful Business Practices, Sexual Orientation Change Efforts. Makes it sound like a bill designed to prevent businesses from selling electroshock conversion therapy to the LGBTQ community desiring treatment, or some selling people anti-gay pills or other phony treatments for a quick buck. However, the actual content of the bill targets religious organizations and religious treatments for people who want to return to heterosexuality. So I guess that's how far down the gutter we have gone. The First Amendment right is dead in the state of California. And if the people in the state of California, if we have any California listeners, I want you to call 717-300-1218. That's 717-300-1218. What do you think of everything that your state leadership, the governor, and those are doing to your rights in the Constitution? This throws religious freedom completely out the door, in my opinion, at least in the state of California. And who knows, they say when the fads hit in California, they come everywhere else later. Is that the way it's going to be with this? We're headed down a pretty bad road. If we do this, we're done. As a nation, we are absolutely done. And that's my opinion.
I saw that report this morning. I didn't have a chance to really do so. Thank you for bringing that. And I was just, it's like, are you kidding me? And
how bold and brazen.
Yes.
So the separation of church and state, that means they're just going to kick religion completely out.
But
that's not what the First Amendment says. I'm going to bring it up real quick so we can read it. Hold on a second.
But where are the groups to fight it? Who's fighting it?
Well, that's why I want to hear from the state of California. Well, you don't know that no one is fighting it. Let's read the Bill of Rights. Let's read that First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Wouldn't selling Bibles be a free exercise thereof? Or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. They can make no law respecting any establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise of religion. And, of course, we know this was something that our founding fathers were fighting with the king over. And, when Patrick Henry gave his Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech, he had just seen a minister whipped, flogged to death for not taking a license from the king to preach. He had to preach the way, he had to interpret the way the king wanted him to interpret the scriptures or whatever. So, and if he didn't, the king showed his Christian love and beat him to death. So California is going to ban Bibles because they're going to stand behind the gays and the lesbians and the homosexualities and the perverts. And I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone, but that's what I perceive it to be, a perverted act of what is real. And I understand that you've chosen a different lifestyle, but you cannot push it on everyone else any more than you want us to push ours on you. And to ban Bibles just because you don't like what they say is wrong. And it goes against the First Amendment.
Well, if they ban the selling of Bibles in California, that means they would also need to begin to control the Internet. Because how would they keep the Bible off the Internet? They would also somehow have to control the Internet. Mm-hmm. And so, again, the Internet is already controlled, but...
have you read the Quran?
No.
Okay, I have not either. But we know that they don't believe in homosexuality. So would they have to ban the Quran as well, or is it just going to be the Bible? It appears it's just going to be the Bible.
I've been told I don't know exactly what the Quran says, but, and I'm not sure, but I know I've been told, and I've read a little bit about the, I can't remember if it was based on quote unquote Muslims or the like the Saudi Arabians, but they don't view, they do like the same sex, but they don't classify it as being homosexual. They classify I don't like to get into these details and stuff on the radio. I don't mind talking about it on the phone. But anyway.
All right. Anybody who has children in the room, put your ears.
Please leave that. But I'm not going to say anything that would be offensive to children. But so I don't know what the Quran says about that specifically, but I do know that they do like the same gender.
And it's usually with pedophilia, is it not?
Well, the person that is actually doing the act is considered the homosexual. The person receiving the act is not. And I have a friend here in Maryland who she's got sons and they have gone to various places in the Middle East and so forth, and they're actually warned to be aware that this is a common practice. But yet you can read other things and, it's like, oh, no, they don't believe it. They strike down, they kill, and so forth. But,
the U.S.
I don't believe that.
I don't remember his name, but there was a U.S. military serviceman over in the Middle East, and he heard the screaming and the carrying on, and he went and rescued a young man that was being raped, and then he was in trouble for that. So anyway, it's a sad day if they get this done. It's not passed yet, but I would have liked to have heard from someone in the state of California that's listening, and I know we have listeners there. Maybe they're afraid to call in. I don't blame them.
We can call California, and we can call and, tell them they shouldn't pass it and get on the politicians. Doesn't mean that we can only be involved in our own states.
It's amazing to me that California has kept Governor Brown. I just can't believe, and some of the others that they have there, the senators.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I just can't believe that they do that. And I know, like, the folks that I met and was conferencing with last week or the weekend, they're not this kind of people.
No.
And it is, again, it's the mob rule mentality. It's where the big cities that are ruling over all of the state, and that's why they want to divide the state. And I'm not sure that that's a good idea, but because from what I heard, those who are wanting the division the most are some of them they're doing it for the wrong reasons, and it's corrupt for that too. So I don't know. It's a crazy situation we're in. This nation is going downhill so fast. I want to believe that people are waking up, but I'm not sure they are. And we have these judges that think they can dictate law now. And this DACA judge, or I'm going to call him the DACA judge, this judge that's ordered DACA application renewals, he's telling the president, you can't eliminate an illegal executive order by the previous president without good reason. Well, he gave a good reason. It was illegal. It says Bates, which is the judge, said Trump's decision to end the program last month was too arbitrary because the Department of Justice failed to explain why the program was unlawful. This is craziness that we have judges telling the president of we have the three system. We've got the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branches. They are supposed to balance out, checks and balances. They're supposed to keep each other honest. But this judge is telling him, you can't do away with an illegal executive order. That's not enough. He's got to have a good reason, even though that is good reason enough. And I don't like executive orders. I don't like them from any president, regardless of Democrat or Republican. But they've got people fighting for this, and of course they're the big corporations. And Bates is by a student. It says there's a student in Microsoft and the NAACP, and they're all on board with the judge. They think the judge is great. It says the judge, Bates, ruled that Trump never explained why he ended DACA, which is a complete lie. Trump ended the program in September last year, saying that former President Barack Obama unconstitutionally signed it into law, which is true. He gave Congress 6 months to pass legislative solution, but of course the lawmakers did nothing. And they let it expire. So what is it I've been saying? Congress is the problem. If Congress would have done their job in the first place, we wouldn't be here dealing with a idiotic judge with an agenda. So it goes on here to say, how can Obama unilaterally enact an illegal policy, and yet Trump has to explain himself to the courts when he reverses that same unlawful policy? Even when Trump tries to undo illegal action and allow Congress to pass the law like they're supposed to, which is the main purpose of the legislative branch, politically driven judges punish him for it. Again, I'm blaming Congress. The judge is in the wrong. The judges are not there for life. We need to get rid of them. It says undoing Obama's unconstitutional program was the right thing to do, and now DHS will have 90 days. Oh, Lordy. 90 days to make the case in front of an activist judge playing politics over protecting this nation. It's just absolutely insane. And I would think anybody, I don't care what side of the political arena you're on, you've got to see that we're being This is tyranny. This is absolute tyranny, in my opinion. These judges, these activist judges that are ruling against the Constitution, they're trying to make law themselves. It's not what the Founding Fathers wanted. It's not what they expected to happen in this nation, but it is what they warned us against. I thought it kind of mentioned that on there, but it didn't, about the Founding Fathers. But it's just, I don't know, it just upset me. Those two articles came to my desk late yesterday afternoon, and I kept them and I read them, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is just unreal. Where is this nation going? Down the tube. And why? Because, like our good friend from Ohio when she calls in, because they're turning away from God. It is a turning away from God, especially with what California is doing. But this other two, they're turning away from God, the Constitution, and they're not putting God first. They're not putting the people first, the people second in this nation. And I don't know. Anyway, it upsets me.
You go, girl.
You go, girl.
You go, girl. It really is. And, they don't hide it anymore. And, at one point in time, it was always, it's been going on for a long time, and it's, when they made the law and defined what a marriage is, the Supreme Court, no one you don't make the laws. A marriage is defined as a man and a woman, and it's just right now in our face, and that's truly what we've. I don't know. You can go back to the Bushes. You can go back prior to that and so forth and whatnot. And, that's why it gets my little ire to see Kissinger, vacate, being a visitor to the White House as often as he has. And it's just like as soon as we get our hopes up, you continue to see the same people, the same problems, the same fights, the same arguments. And sometimes it just seems we might win ultimately we're going to win the war. I get that. But
we read the end of the book.
Yes.
We had read the end of the book that's no longer to be sold in the state of California if they pass this crazy bill, which is, let me find that again because I want people to know what it is. If you give your legislature a call, 2943, Assembly Bill 2943 to ban the sale of Bibles in the state of California. You're listening to Power Talks with Melody and Beth Ann in the morning. The number to call is 717-300-1218, and you do right now.
Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, 1-800-375-4188. The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on Internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the Internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Hear it first on FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net.
And we have returned to listening to Power Talks. We're in the final segment of today's show. Now, if you want to call in, you better hurry. 717-300-1218. I couldn't resist bringing this up. And I know everybody's thinking, oh, come on, Beth, give us some real news. But I couldn't resist bringing this up. $69 million. NBC lost when they bet on Megyn Kelly. $69 million. And I thought, well, that's what you get for betting on a fraud. She was not what she pretended to be. She really, truly was just another pretty face and legs. You know, she always had to show her legs when she was on her show. They made sure that everybody saw her legs. But anyway, they took a chance on her, and they lost big time, $69 million. And, of course, she claims they just didn't bill her for what she really was. And didn't introduce her, I'm thinking, well, girlfriend, you already branded yourself. So it wasn't a good branding either. But anyway, I just couldn't resist. $69 million. I quit watching her. She did three things, actually, that really upset me. She was rude to Rand Paul. You know, you can interview and not agree with somebody. You don't have to be rude. She was rude to Rand Paul. She was very rude to Ben Carson. And she was extremely rude and uninformed when she interviewed Ammon Bundy. And I heard her say something one time that made me believe she was not pro-life. She was pro-abortion. And I thought, why do they have her on here pretending to be a conservative when she is not? And she's just there for the pretty face and the pretty legs, and that doesn't turn me on, so I didn't care. I just turned her off. I quit watching her. But NBC took a bet on her, took a gamble, and they lost $69 million on Megyn Kelly, and I thought it was kind of funny.
All right.
That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
You're sticking to it. You're sticking to it. I wasn't a fan, but she should have stayed with Fox.
Oh, I wasn't a fan, but you thought she should have stayed with Fox? I think they wanted her gone. She was her viewers had tanked out. I mean, when she did what she did at the debate, and I know everybody blamed Trump. He said things he shouldn't have. She initiated it. In my opinion, she initiated it. And but I was already upset with her over the other, and I wish they'd quit putting her in places where I didn't want her, particularly in the debate. I thought she had no business running that debate, but that's just me.
Hey, we got a caller. We have Doug in Pennsylvania calling us this morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, ladies. How are you today?
Just fantastic.
Yeah, I've been listening to the show, and I just couldn't believe when you said that they're actually trying to outlaw the Bible in California, selling the Bible.
Yeah,
doesn't that violate your religious freedom?
Yeah, well, you don't have that in California.
I heard that they're on the news yesterday. They said they're one step closer from seceding from the Union. I say let them go. Them people down there. My friend lived down there for a while. He had to move because they teach gay history in grade school down there. Gay history.
In other places across this nation too. But in history, we're led to believe that we fought this war and stole California from Mexico, but we actually bought it, so maybe we ought to sell it back.
Yeah, I say give it back.
Well, we need the money. Let's sell it back. Let's sell it back.
Yeah, just give it to him. I say pay him to take it back, you know. Hey, that's all I had to say. I'm sorry, but that just I just couldn't believe what I heard. This country's not going in the right direction at all.
No, it's not, Doug. It's not.
And it's time to take it back and put it like it used to be, like it should be. Like it should be constant. I heard on the TV that one of the judges said when a guy was going into court and his constitutional rights were violated, the judge said the Constitution and the Bill of Rights have no place in this courtroom. Now, that guy should be impeached, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
agreed.
Thank you. That's all I got to say. And, hey, you do. I love your show, and I appreciate it. And you guys have a good day. And I'm going to get a hold of you tonight about getting some silver. I would like to get some silver.
Do you need the phone number?
All right, well, thank you.
Okay.
I already have it. I wrote it down last night.
Okay.
Thank you,
Doug. Thank you.
We're going to give it out anyway for the next person because somebody else wants to call you. 1-800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. And give Melody a call for discount gold and silver trading. Do you have any specials right now?
We still have some of those 90% dimes, AUBU condition, great quality, 90%. It's great for a beginner. We have a lot of I got a bunch of 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagles in, and they're really selling at a good deal. So they do need to give us a call at 800-375-4188.
All right. And check out dgscoins.com. That's her website. And, I'm writing it down and doing it wrong. dgscoins.com. And sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to try and get something written here between today and tomorrow.
Okay.
I've got something. I really got something I want to write. So.
Okay.
I have to do a little studying, and it takes me a little while. I type a little while, then I have to massage my arm, and then I type a little while, then I have to massage my arm because it's still very painful. But I'm getting there.
All right. Good deal.
All right. What else was I going to talk about? Did you have something else? Did you want to?
No, I'm a little under the weather this morning, so I've just been enjoying listening to you, and but we do
Thank you
have
for joining me today.
Yeah, well, you're quite welcome. I showed up, but that I don't know what's going to happen when you have those migrants from Central America. They're at the border.
Oh, yeah.
And they're planning to cross the border this weekend. So I don't know what's all going to happen from that. I've been reading where a lot of them have been filling out the paperwork and so forth so that they can come in and so forth. But I really don't know how many there are. And the thing I didn't get, we all saw the pictures of the train with them all on top of the top. And it's like, really? I don't know how much of this is. I mean, if you were the conductor of the train, how do you get all those people up there on that train and accept, I'm not so sure how real that picture is.
Well, we know that it is an invasion.
But we know they're there.
And we know that it isn't about, and even with those who side for the DACA, even those, because this isn't DACA here.
No.
Even those who want the open borders. Where were those same people when little Elian, isn't that his name? I can't think of Elian Gonzalez. His mother died getting him over here because they were in such trouble there in Cuba. And they jerked him out of his uncle's arms with guns to send him back to the communist country and his father who was fighting for him in Cuba.
The thing that I read little bits and pieces of how NAFTA continues to come up in conversation in articles when talking about this group of immigrants at the border. Ministers from Mexico, Canada, and the United States, they met in the Capitol as they're rushing to seal a quick deal on updating NAFTA. And I'm thinking, what's this all got to do? I mean, these are two separate issues. The NAFTA shouldn't have anything to do with these immigrants coming from Guatemala and everywhere else.
But you see, it does.
But we don't know what's all being dealt with in updating of NAFTA.
The D.C. occupiers occupying offices and cutting deals. Immigration and trade go together, whether it's illegal or legal. And that's why, and that was one thing that upset me, was when I had visited with Michael Cutler, the retired INS special agent, senior special agent. I always want to call him a super agent. But anyway, he was talking about Senator Cruz wanted to increase legal immigration by 500%. Well, there's a reason for that. And this is why it just kind of clicked in my brain one night in 2016 or 2015 late. I don't remember when it was. It was 2016, I guess, because it was trying to figure out what the hate was all about from every direction for Trump. It was because he was talking about immigration and he was talking about trade and he was messing with their incomes. He was messing with the deals they had already cut. We're out of time once again, and tomorrow is Friday. We will have Open Mic Friday. You've been listening to Power Talks with Beth and Melody in the morning.
And I'll be here tomorrow, Beth.
Well, you take care. I know you're not feeling
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. And you have everybody have a great rest of the day.
Visit crosstheborder.org, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host, Melody Cedarstrom, right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.